There's one more tool I should show you before we dig into this assignment. It will allow you to blend things together more easily. This is using the blend if options inside of your layer styles. So to go through that, let's say that you had a fairly straightforward assignment given to you, which is to combine this lightning with these clouds. This happens from time to time. You need to blend something into something else. Well, we start by moving it over. We just go to layer and duplicate layer. We'll move our blue lightning over to our small clouds. So we've got them both in the same place. Then we would most likely come into our channels and find the least damaged of these. Looks like maybe the red's pretty bad. Let's try green. Control A to select it, Control C to copy it. Pop on over to our layers, go down and just click on the add layer mask. Alt click to go into layer mask, Control A, Control V to add our layer mask. We can see that that's a good start. We go back into the layer mask and then we'd maybe take up levels or something, and then inside of levels we'd get the black area, and then we get the remove some of the grays, and then in areas that's missing we'd probably bring up our brush real quick, and then we'd set our brush to good old overlay. And then once we're in overlay, we can flip this to black, pop this up, and then you can see we can paint over the lightning and we'll leave the stronger lightning intact. Kind of get rid of the small ones. There we go. Now we've got this layer mask. Okay, deselect. So you can see we've got a layer mask. And now we'd probably want to adjust the layer mask further, maybe selecting some of the clouds or maybe the sky, and then flip it around. And it starts to take a while. So you start thinking, well, maybe we could just go ahead and do a blending mode instead. And we pop straight over to the opposite of multiply because we want to keep just the lightning, and we go over to screen. But all of this blue is getting in the way. And so it's a little disheartening because you're just going to be at this for a while, and it's kind of obnoxious because you have other things you need to work on. Well, there's a way around all of this. Let's go ahead and set our layer to screen. That's a good start. Notice that it's knocking out most of the darker colors. If we double click on our layer, just outside of the text in this gray area here, we bring up our layer styles. So we've had here for a while something called blend if, and we have two options: this layer, underlying layer. What this is referring to is what luminance values do you want to show through. Now by default, it will just kind of have everything behaving normally. But if you grab the dark and start moving it in, you'll see that anything below this 105 luminance point is just getting masked away. If we did the opposite, all of the lighter colors would start to vanish, and that would be our lightning. So we don't want that to happen. We just want the dark. Now basically only things between these 2 points are showing up. So that's a pretty big way to clean things up right off the bat. But if you hold down the Alt key, see how these have this almost weird shape to them? They're not a standard triangle. They have a little line. If you hold down the Alt key and click, you can break them apart and add in a smooth transition between the 2 points. Now check that out. We put the lightning in. That was so much easier than going through the process of getting a channel and using the overlay mode and altering it in the mask and all that stuff. We just have it. But there's more to it than that. We also have the underlying layer. Now this is the push-through effect. Whatever is above the white now in luminance values is being pushed through. So we've got the clouds sticking out all over the place. If we went the opposite direction, we quickly hide the lightning because the blue's darker. And again, this can be broken up and fuzzied in or fuzzied out. And I just used the Alt key to break it up. And voila, look at this. It's just coming in and out of the cloud right away. If we were to mask just a couple of spots, then we'd be done. But we still don't have to mask. There's even more you can do. This is the blend if gray. But on top of that, you have each of the color channels available to you. So in other words, you can knock out a ton of stuff wherever you want based off of the color. And you can either push it through from the underlying layer or make it invisible from the overlying layer, or this layer, I should say. So if we pop over to red and we start hiding some of that red, we don't even need another mask. Look at that. The cloud is now being pushed through on the red channel where all this pink is coming from, and voila, Let's just tell it okay. This is just with a screen mode and some blending options kicked in. I think that that's absolutely incredible. And keep in mind the Alt key will allow you to break up these guys, if I can hold down Alt, so you can make things softer and kind of blend them in and out. So it's a really, really vital tool for doing blending between different modes and different layers. There you have it. Now, keep in mind, if you were to do this with a normal mode, it's still available. So if you don't want to even have screen, you can set it up on, well, practically anything here. So we could just do luminosity, for example, if we didn't want all of the color that's involved with the lightning. Voila, that's it. So that's the blend if. Hopefully this will come in handy as we get into our assignment.